is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are this day. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of INCRadio New York. I'm Sister Abby Hidalgo, your host for today's episode, and here with me today we have Brother Christian. How are you, Brother Christian?
I'm good. It's good to be back to do another episode of INC Radio. I know it's been a while.
Yes, we are glad that you are here with us today. We miss all of our other INC Radio New York hosts and members. I know it's always a busy Saturday. There's a lot of activities that we are preparing for. So, I mean, it's understandable. We hopefully one day we'll be all together. But yes, we have many activities to look forward to today, which we will kind of, we'll announce at the end of our show. But for our main topic today, as you probably could see on our thumbnail or why you're joining us on today's episode, is that we're going to talk about home food safety. You know, we love to eat on INC Radio New York, and we love to cook, make recipes, eat out, try different foods. But sometimes we don't know the effects of leaving out your food too long, or the proper way of really preparing a meal so that we don't get sick. I know Brother Christian, I think, worked in the emergency room, so he probably seen a lot of people come in with belly pain or really stomach issues because they had like bad food or whatnot, or they're throwing up a lot. So we're gonna share some tips that we can practice in our own homes, in our own lives, so that we can prevent any untoward incidences or any food poisoning that, kind of lower the risk. So in our YouTube, a live chat, please share what is the most random food item in your fridge right now and how long has it been in there? I know we probably have a corner in the refrigerator right now, or even in the freezer, that we forgot that we bought this product, or we forgot that we have this certain leftovers and it might be growing some stuff. But please share in the comments what's a random food item that you may remember, what is in there right now and how long it's been in there. So I know for me, I think I have old ice cream, and I think that's been in there for quite some time. I don't remember when I purchased it. It was like kind of a pint-sized ice cream. I think it was from my local ice cream store, and I think it's pistachio ice cream, and it's been there for quite some time. And I do need to kind of declutter or just clean out my refrigerator and freezer. How about you, Brother Christian? Do you know what's in your refrigerator or freezer right now?
You know, that is a really great question. But there's probably like an old spaghetti batch that my mom cooked that I still haven't finished eating, so it's probably still there. So, I'm going to go check on it after this episode. So.
Yes. So share us in the chat your random food item and how long it's been there. Don't be embarrassed. We have all that stuff. But yeah, on to our main topic, or we're going to do some like kind of fun facts or fun questions that you can also, answer along with the question of the day. So the first question that we can ask, if food tastes okay, is it safe to eat? It's yes, no, or maybe. So type up your answer, either A, yes, B, no, or C, maybe. If food tastes okay, is it safe to eat? Okay, so we'll let that marinate. But on to our first question. Um, so, what is food safety and what are the basics? So, basically, food safety, I don't know if you know the actual definition, Brother Christian, but I can quickly do a Google search or a search. But food safety is basically how to keep, your food safe to eat and to consume, so that people that you will feed won't get sick from it. So it's been estimated, according to the foodsafety.gov website, is that 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year alone. So that's a pretty high kind of number. So 1 in 6 people can get sick or from food, or experience some food poisoning. And about 128,000 Americans are hospitalized because of this. And it can also, cause some long-term health problems. So we're going to share some tips that we can keep ourselves and our families safe from getting food poisoning by following some basic steps. So, what are some basic steps of food safety?
I guess like for food safety, obviously washing your hands is the first thing that you should be doing before touching anything. Especially when you're about to cook. Um, I we cook here, right? Who else cooks here? I think you cook too, Ate Abby. So you already know how when you walk into the kitchen, you're about to start cooking. Always wash your hands first, and then make sure that all of the surfaces are clean. There's no, for me, I don't like clutter whenever I cook, so I try to declutter and try to um, maybe do some cleanly wipe, disinfecting wipe on the counter before I start using it. So at least, um, that helps us with food safety, and you're not contaminating whatever you're going to be using, right?
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, yeah, like what Sister Marisol said, always wash your hands. So the first thing is really make sure everything is clean. So wash your hands, wash your surfaces. And it's not just like wiping it down with like a towel. Like make sure that you can use like, cleaning wipes, or sometimes it's just like warm water and soap just to make sure your area is clean. And your hands are clean. Like your hands, I believe, are like one of the dirtiest things that you have because you touch many surfaces. And like it's been you see signs in the bathroom. It's like employees must wash their hands, so we should also wash our hands after we use the bathroom. Even if, or even taking out the trash or cleaning up, it doesn't harm you. I mean, it makes your hands dry. I know sometimes, like especially in the winter time with soaps and whatnot, it can make your hands dry. Or even like Purell, or not well, like hand sanitizer. Sometimes people can use that, but that doesn't really get like the dirt and the grime. So really warm water and and warm water and soap is like the most effective way to really clean your hands, and
well, the next
that.
question should be, how long do you have to wash your hands for?
I all I know is like there's a song that you must sing. It's either ABC or the Happy Birthday song, and that's usually how long you should wash your hands for. And wash like here in between your fingers and like around. And sometimes, like I don't know, I kind of get really I guess particular. Like I also even clean underneath my nails, and I personally, I know everyone loves long nails for girls or females, and they get their nails done and all that, but I just like short nails so it doesn't get dirt underneath. So, you think about all the stuff that you touch. Your cell phone. Your cell phone is like how often do you clean your cell phone? And you touch
I
that
was
all the time.
I was actually going to bring that up at the Abby. So I know, especially nowadays, it's not like it's not. I don't know if it's the same in your household or if you're tuning in and you still have a little recipe book or whatnot, whatever your family uses. But I'm pretty sure majority of us like to Google recipes online, and sometimes we don't even print them out anymore. We just kind of use them on our phone, or like you have a tablet of some sort, you kind of just use it. Make sure before you cook, you disinfect your devices because you are cross-contaminating. So, and of course, our phones and our tablets are the most, um, you know, uh, littered with bacteria. So that's just another pro tip.
Yes. Yeah. So not only like I know we can get into it further down is in addition to like, washing your food and the produce and whatnot, making sure that you get all like the dirt and whatnot before you start cooking. Yeah, wash your hands, wash your devices that you're gonna use. Make sure your surfaces are clean. Make sure your pots and pans are also clean. Even your stove or your oven if you're gonna use it, because you never know what is left over. Make sure that things are clean and sanitary before we start cooking, so that you won't get sick. There's no cross contamination. So
Okay, Abby, before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to also remind our chat to answer the question of the day. Well, we have a few questions of the days today, but the first question that we asked was if food tastes okay, is it safe to eat? So answer in the live chat A for yes, B for no, or C for maybe, and then we'll try to find those answers at the end of our show today.
yeah.
And
So Sister Marisol said, my answer both to your question is sometimes, even if the food still tastes good, but we know the food has been there for a while, so not so good to eat. So maybe your tummy will feel hurt later. So that kind of answers the question. It's a maybe, but sometimes you can't count on your taste or smell or sight to see if your food is safe to eat.
I think
Um,
after COVID, my sense of smell and taste has been weird. So it's just
yeah, I mean,
better.
like even though it looks good, it smells good, and even if you taste a little bit, it's good. But it's like if you actually think about how long it's been sitting in your refrigerator, it's like okay, we'll get into it. It's like how long should you actually keep your leftovers in your refrigerator? But we'll get to that. But yeah, so it's maybe like you never know. But if you're unsure, if there's any doubt in your head, it's better to be safe than sorry. I know it kind of feels you feel bad because you're wasting food. So that's also a good thing to think about. It's like if you're going to prepare a recipe or prepare food, think about meal prep. I'm going to eat this for X amount of days, so this is the amount that I'm going to, cook. And then, or you can think about like if I'm making a big batch, I can set aside this for eating now, and then you can freeze the rest later, so that you can, because that freezing it will make it a longer shelf life, so you can save it for later. So those are some kind of tips so you won't waste food, but also don't make you won't get sick.
Yeah.
So another question that we can ask the chat, in addition to what random food item you have in your fridge right now, is that should you wash raw meat and poultry before preparing it? I know in my household, or my mom when growing up, I always watch her. She washes everything. So your fruits, vegetables, even the meats. So, but is it? Is it true? Like, should we wash raw meat and poultry before we prepare it? So A, yes. B, no. So let's see what you guys think.
Honestly, for me, I think yes, because I don't know. For me, when I cook, I as long as you don't wash them together in the same bowl, that, that's like at least you're cleaning. For me, I like to wash it to be thorough, but I would never wash it together. Like if I have meat, I would wash the meat separately, and then like if they're the same type of meat, like I would wash them together. Or if they're from the same packaging, I would just like kind of let water run through it, cold water. Um, and then if it's like the same type of poultry, I would do the same thing and just let water run in the packaging so that it's a little bit washed thoroughly. But I could be wrong. That's just me. I could be wrong. What do you do on that?
I don't know. I mean, I used to thought it was a good thing because you never know how the meats or the food was prepared in the factory, or where the where it come from, or even the store. Like, I just want to make sure that there is no cross contamination from where I purchase the food. I just want to, like, you think washing or cleaning will clean everything and get all like the bad stuff off the surfaces. But we'll let you guys marinate on that, think about it, and see, and we'll answer that question. So yes or no, is it good, or is it should we wash our meat before preparing it? But it kind of relates to our next bullet point that we can discuss, is that about cross contamination. You have your meats, your vegetables, your produce, whatever you're trying to cook with. So we have to ensure that we separate everything, separate your raw meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs from the other foods. Not only in when you're preparing it, also in your grocery, when you do grocery shopping. So, like, sometimes you want to save on bags or save on like the amount of stuff you want to carry. You should separate your raw meat, your poultry, or any like those raw foods from like the other stuff, like your prepared foods or your vegetables or your fruit, or other stuff that you buy when you go grocery shopping, because you don't want to cross contaminate, and I don't want to say infect, but like contaminate the rest of your food. So that's one thing. While you grocery shop, make sure everything's separate, and then if you have a bagger in your grocery store, you can say, oh no, I want these separate. Because sometimes they just pack it all in one bag. I don't know if you experience that when you go grocery shopping, Brother Christian, but yeah, I'm like, no.
Well, we're actually getting some answers on the chat right now. So Marisol says, oh, so see, she also washes raw meat, and sometimes she even boils it at first. That's interesting. Okay. Someone also mentioned they wash their vegetables with baking soda and vinegar. Yes, that's actually a really good tip. Thank you for that, Bob. Yeah, that's what else is there? I feel like,
yes, and then I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but when I was young trying to learn how to cook, I didn't know that I need multiple cutting boards. One for meat and meat or whatever, another one for fruits and vegetables or whatnot. Like, you have specific cutting boards for specific things, and that also prevents cross contamination and making things like not safe for you to eat. So that's another thing that we have to realize, that you should have separate cutting boards. And sometimes they even recommend, I don't know like the science behind that, but I've been told that you should avoid having even wood cutting boards, because the way the knife cuts into wood, it leaves marks. So that's a breeding ground for bacteria.
Wow, I should throw away my cutting boards.
I mean, don't quote, like, that's what I've been told. Unfortunately, I haven't really done much research, but it kind of makes sense. It's like when you use a knife and you cut into anything, it has little nicks, and those are kind of breeding ground for bacteria.
It makes sense.
It makes sense, but you wash it with hot soap and water, so shouldn't that also,
Yeah. So for me, what I do when it comes to using a cutting board is obviously I have a process of how I do things in my kitchen when I'm in the kitchen. And I don't know how my dad does it, but in my kitchen, when I'm in the kitchen, when I have to cut something, I always start off with the meats. So I do the meats first, so I can get that one in a separate bowl and set that aside. And then if I'm using veggies, I would take that same board, but I would wash it again after cutting with hot water and soap, and just do it for about a minute or two. And then after I do that, I start cutting the veggies. And then after doing the veggies, I do the same thing again if I have to use like the spices like garlic, onions. That's a spice, right? Yeah, okay. I think so. We're gonna go with that. Yeah, so like, and that's kind of how I would do it. But I would also just, each time I have to cut something new that's different from each other, I would always just always wash my board. And also the knife. You gotta wash your knife too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when I started learning how to cook and learning like food safety, like on my, on my own. I didn't realize how much washing I do. And maybe that's why I don't like cooking is because there's just so much washing involved. But I mean, like, and then sometimes I think, like, am I doing this too much? Like, am I overdoing it? Am I overkilling it? But it's better to be safe than sorry. You want to protect your health and those you are feeding. You don't want to make them sick. So it's better to be overly cautious in regards to like preparing foods and whatnot. Um, I think Sister Marisol says even using your knife, if you use it, if not washing it first before using another item. So like what you said, Brother Christian, wash your cutting board, wash your knives, or whatever things that you're using for different items, just to make sure you don't cross contaminate. And yet, Sister Alma said, even chopping boards, like what we mentioned, you should dedicate one chopping board for just meats, one for fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
So one more time, what should we wash our raw meat and poultry before preparing it? I think the general consensus is that we should, but the answer is no.
What? No way.
It says, I think according to like the food and safety, the government site says washing increases the dangers of cross contamination by spreading bacteria that's on the surface of the meat and poultry to nearby ready to eat foods, kitchen utensils, and counter services. So I guess when you're washing, it kind of sprays around, but and then so that can increase cross contamination in a general area. So I guess if you feel comfortable, I'm not saying to promote this, but make sure after you wash, clean around your area. If you are really that insistent to wash your meats, make sure that after you wash your meats, wash the rest of your area, just to make sure that if you spray or you're worried about your cross contaminating the other areas in ready to eat foods or your utensils, that at least those surfaces are clean.
Something you can also do is if you have one of those detachable hose from faucet hose, you can put it closer to your feet or take your entire bowl and put it closer to the mouth of the faucet so that it prevents less spray. I think that's a good way to, you still want to wash your meat. That's another way from preventing cross-contamination. But that's pretty interesting to know. You shouldn't wash.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's towards the end of our show. So, one last thing. I think we should make sure that we should also mention. Make sure that you check the internal temperature of your meats. There is a guide online that you can look up to see the proper internal temperature to make sure that's safe to eat. Keep things warm. Refrigerate things within 1 to 2 hours. So don't leave things out, for hours on end, because that can cause bacteria to grow. And interesting fun fact, how long should you store leftover in the refrigerator? 3 to 4 days. So that thing that's been sitting in your back of your fridge for over a month or a week, I think it's time to part with it. So it's okay. So 3 to 4 days is the rule of thumb to keep leftovers in the fridge. Okay, so let's, I guess, announce the hashtag challenge for last week. The top 3 congregations. Number 3 is Forest Hills. Congratulations, Forest Hills. Number 2 is Portland. So congratulations, Portland. And number 1, I think I wrote this wrong on the rundown. So let me quickly look, because I don't think it's Forest Hills again. So let me double check my spreadsheet that I have. Sorry. Number 1 is Boston. So congratulations, Boston. And our top hashtaggers, number 3 is Sister Alma. Number 2 is Florida, D. Kadiwa, or District Kadiwa. So I believe that's Sister Cassie and one of the sisters down there. And number 1 hashtagger is Sister Marisol. And so congratulations to everyone. And Brother Christian, do you want to talk about our upcoming activities?
Sure. So for our upcoming activities, we have, actually, it's already tomorrow. We have the In Cinema Awards, I believe. Are we allowed to mention the venue?
Yeah, we can. I think we can mention the venue so that.
Okay, I believe the venue is at Astoria World Manor. So if you are planning on going, make sure there's a sign up link that you have to sign up for. So make sure that you are able to do this. This is uh we are going to be with two other districts. So I believe the District of New Jersey and the District of Virginia will be joining us tomorrow. So that's something interesting. And the program for tomorrow's award show is very. There's a lot of fun-filled performances by brethren in our district as well. So it would be nice to come and support them as well too for that activity tomorrow. And of course, September flew by so fast. We are now headed towards the month of October, and we all know what the month of October means in the Church of Christ. That is Pai Gordo's birthday, so we will be doing a lot of Care for Humanity activities. So, just be on the lookout for all of those things that will be happening next month. It is going to be another busy month, but it's worth it because we're all doing this together, and another way for us to spend more time with each other in the district. So I think that's about it, right, Sister Abby, for activities, unless you have some other activities.
Yes, so we have a lot of big activities that we're looking forward to tomorrow and next month. But again, keep your eyes and ears on the lookout for any local activities that you may have so that we can, all participate. So I guess it's time to close it out.
All right, I'll close it out. But thank you so much for joining us on our show today, and thank you for tuning in. As always, thank you to the church administration for giving us a platform to speak and share about important topics like these. Don't forget to catch us again next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 11:30 p.m. Philippine time.
Yes, and greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to our Christian Family Organization Coordinator and Sept President, Brother Angelo Ranyo Manalo, to our District Minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Neil Patrick Omelda, our CFO Advisor, Brother J.R. Resurrection. That brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for learning with us about food safety. So have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And stay safe out there.
Wash your hands.
Yes, wash your hands, wash your surfaces, and throw out that food that's been in your refrigerator for a long time.